Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any future episodes. Today we're taking a deep dive into the world of moral philosophers.
And ethical inquiry.
It's going to be great for UPSC aspirants.
Students.
Or anyone, really.
Yeah, anyone who's just curious about the big questions in life.
We're going to be looking at thinkers from India and the West.
Exploring their ideas about happiness and virtue.
Justice, politics.
And even economics.
It's kind of like a crash course in ethical thinking, really.
Yeah.
Tailored just for you.
And what's really cool about this deep dive is we're going beyond just the surface level. We're going to unpack the core ideas from these giants of philosophy and connect them back to you, to your life, whether you're just trying to make daily choices or aiming for a career in public service.
Exactly. And we're using a unique blend of sources here. Ancient texts, epic stories, even modern economic theories, really to give you a well-rounded perspective. So starting right off, what even is philosophy?
Well, it all begins with curiosity, right? That natural human need to understand why things are the way they are. You see a lightning strike, you wonder what caused it. We feel joy, we feel sorrow, and we question, where does it come from? Philosophy, really at its heart, is this pursuit of knowledge. It's a search for those cause and effect relationships that help us make sense of the world and our place in it.
That makes total sense. It's like there's this need to connect the dots,
Right.
to find the underlying patterns of life. And the word philosophy itself, it comes from the Greek word philosophia, meaning love of wisdom.
Exactly. Philosophers, they are the champions in this quest for wisdom. They're always probing, questioning, and challenging assumptions. You can think of them as like intellectual detectives. They try to uncover those fundamental truths about existence, about rationality, even about the nature of God and religion.
So where do we begin this philosophical adventure?
Well, let's start with the bedrock of Indian philosophy, the Shad Darshan.
Shadarshan.
Or 6 viewpoints. It's 6 distinct schools of thought, each with its own unique perspective on the universe and human existence.
6 schools of thought. Wow, that sounds like a lot to unpack. What makes each one unique?
Let's take a quick tour. First, we have Samkhya. This school delves into the duality of matter, or prakriti, and spirit, or purusha. Imagine you're trying to find your true self amidst the chaos of the world. Samkhya helps you distinguish between that inner essence, the purusha, and the material world, the prakriti.
It's like finding that signal amidst all the noise.
Right.
Inner peace amidst the chaos.
Exactly. Next, we have yoga, which, while it is related to Samkhya, focuses on a practical path to liberation. It's not just about the physical postures. It's an 8-stage journey of self-discovery involving ethical practices and mental disciplines.
It's about aligning the mind, body, and spirit
Precise.
on that path to self-realization.
Right. Now let's talk about Nyaya. This school emphasizes logic and epistemology, how we know what we know. It's like being a detective, using inference and evidence to get to the truth. Especially helpful if you're preparing for the UPSC exams.
Because it strengthens your analytical skills.
Exactly. Now, Vaisheshika takes a more naturalistic approach. It classifies the entities and relationships that we perceive in the world. Think of it as a system for understanding the physical world based on our sensory experiences, a framework for how we interact with our environment.
So it's about breaking down our experiences and organizing them.
Exactly. Now, Mimamsa focuses on the interpretation of the Vedas and the philosophical justification for Vedic rituals. It really delves into the heart of religious traditions and explores how they connect with ethical conduct.
So it's exploring that connection between faith and reason.
Precisely. And finally, we have Vedanta, considered the peak of Vedic thought. It delves into the relationship between the individual self, or Atman, and the absolute, or Brahman. Think of it as exploring the connection between your own consciousness and ultimate reality.
It's like trying to understand our place in the grand scheme of things, right?
Exactly. And Vedanta has 3 main subschools: Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, and Dvaita, each offering a unique perspective on this profound relationship.
Wow. That's a whirlwind tour of Indian philosophical thought. And it's amazing how these ancient schools of thought still offer these valuable insights for navigating our modern world. But ethical wisdom isn't just found in philosophical treatises, right? The epics, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, they're full of ethical lessons too.
Absolutely. These epics, they're not just stories, they're profound explorations of human nature, of duty, and the complexities of ethical decision-making, bringing these timeless values to life through the actions and struggles of these really compelling characters.
Exactly. It's like watching ethics play out in real time.
Hmm.
Take Rama, for example. He's often seen as a model of ethical leadership, putting the welfare of his people above his own family.
Right.
He embodies this courage of conviction, this prioritizing of public welfare above personal gain, navigating complex situations with remarkable wisdom.
And then you have Sita, a symbol of self-respect and unwavering dignity. She goes through immense challenges, but her commitment to her values, her refusal to compromise her integrity, are a powerful example for all of us.
Her story is a testament to the importance of staying true to oneself, even in the face of adversity.
Precisely. And then you have the tragic story of Dasharatha and Kaikeyi, a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked emotions and the influence of negative advice.
Right.
It shows how poor decisions made in those moments of weakness can lead to devastating consequences.
Their story underscores the importance of really carefully considering our choices, seeking wise counsel, and being mindful of the long-term impact of our actions. What about Ravana? His character provides another important lesson.
Ravana's downfall, driven by greed and unchecked ambition, really shows how even great intellect can be corrupted by these desires. It serves as a powerful reminder that power without ethical grounding can be destructive.
His story is a powerful cautionary tale about balancing ambition with moral principles. True success isn't just about achieving power, but it's about using it responsibly and ethically. Now let's explore another text that's just packed with ethical wisdom, the Bhagavad Gita. This profound dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna offers timeless insights into navigating the complexities of life.
The Gita is basically a guidebook for ethical living, relevant for anyone facing tough choices, especially those aspiring to public service. It emphasizes finding joy in your duty.
Managing emotions wisely.
Right.
And staying focused on your goals even when you have those distractions.
Exactly.
It offers this practical framework for cultivating inner peace, emotional intelligence, and a commitment to selfless action. These insights are super valuable for UPSC aspirants because they give a strong foundation for ethical decision-making in public life. What key lessons can we draw from the Gita?
The Gita emphasizes the importance of fulfilling your assigned duty, even when you're facing challenges or personal preferences. It's about putting the needs of others before your own and acting with integrity, even when it's hard. This really resonates with the core values of public service. And it highlights the triumph of truth, the importance of honesty and integrity, especially for those in positions of power.
These principles are like a moral compass, guiding us toward ethical conduct in both professional and personal lives. Now let's jump into the world of political philosophy with Kautilya's Arthashastra. This ancient text offers a surprisingly relevant guide to governance, right?
Absolutely. Kautilya, also known as Chanakya, was a brilliant strategist and advisor, and his Arthashastra stresses the well-being of the citizens as the ultimate measure of a ruler's success.
He believed that a ruler's happiness is directly linked to the well-being of their people,
Right.
a principle that resonates so strongly with our modern ideas of public service and responsible governance. It's remarkable how much wisdom is contained in this ancient text. Kautilya also highlighted the importance of accessibility, urging rulers and administrators to be available to their citizens, responsive to their needs. He advocated for a strong code of conduct for officials,
Right.
promoting ethical behavior and accountability in all aspects of governance.
And let's not forget Kautilya's very pragmatic approach to the issue of corruption. He acknowledged that it was inevitable, but he proposed practical strategies to combat it. His four-pronged approach, comprising Sam, Dam, Dand, and Bed, is surprisingly relevant, even in today's world.
It speaks to the enduring challenges of governance and the timelessness of Kautilya's insights. Could you break down those strategies a little bit more for our listeners? I think they would be particularly helpful for those UPSC aspirants who are thinking about a career in public service.
Sure. So Sam, or conciliation, is about promoting those ethical values through education and awareness building. Creating a culture of integrity where honesty and ethical conduct are valued and rewarded, it's like building that strong ethical foundation.
For both government officials
Right.
and the public.
Exactly. Dam, or incentives, involves motivating ethical behavior through fair compensation, recognition, and a supportive work environment. It recognizes that creating a system where honesty is rewarded is more effective than just punishing corruption.
It's about making ethical choices the easier choices.
Precisely. Then there's Dan, or punishment, which involves implementing deterrence to discourage corruption, emphasizing accountability and the consequences for those unethical actions.
Right.
While Kautilya recognized punishment was important, he saw it as a last resort. preferring to prevent corruption through the other three strategies.
So it's not just about catching and punishing the corrupt, but it's about creating a system that discourages corruption in the first place.
Exactly. And finally, baited, or division, involves using intelligence and investigation to expose and prevent corruption. It's about having that robust vigilance system that can detect and address corrupt practices before they become widespread. Think of modern-day whistleblower protections, internal audit mechanisms. These are basically contemporary applications of Coutillo's bid strategy. He understood that sunlight is the best disinfectant and that transparency is essential for maintaining ethical governance.
That's a really holistic approach to tackling corruption, right?
Yeah.
Recognizing that it requires this multifaceted strategy, education, incentives, deterrence, proactive vigilance. It's remarkable how these ancient texts offer this practical guidance for these very modern challenges. Now let's introduce another important voice from ancient India, Thiruvalluvar.
His work is really all about understanding the physical world. It's based on our senses. It's a framework for how we interact with our environment.
So it's about breaking down our experiences and trying to make sense of them.
Exactly. Now, Mimamsa deals with the interpretation of the Vedas and the philosophical justification for those Vedic rituals. It goes deep into those philosophical underpinnings of religious traditions, and it explores how they connect to ethical conduct.
So it's about the relationship between faith and reason.
Precisely. And finally, we have Vedanta. This is considered the culmination of Vedic thought. It really explores the relationship between the individual self, the Atman, and the absolute, the Brahman. Think of it like exploring that connection between your individual consciousness and the ultimate reality.
Trying to understand our place in the universe,
Yeah,
in the grand scheme of things.
exactly. And Vedanta, it has three main sub-schools: Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, and Dvaita. Each one offers a really unique perspective on this profound relationship.
That's a whirlwind tour of Indian philosophical thought. It's amazing how these ancient schools of thought still provide insights for navigating our world today. Ethical wisdom isn't just found in philosophical treatises, though, is it? The epics like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, they're full of ethical lessons too, aren't they?
Absolutely. They're not just stories. These epics are profound explorations of human nature, of duty, of the complexities of ethical decision-making. They bring these timeless values to life through the actions and struggles of these compelling characters.
It's like watching ethics play out in real time. Take Rama, for example. He's seen as a model of ethical leadership, putting the welfare of his people above even his own family. He embodies courage, prioritizing public welfare above personal gain, navigating these tricky situations with remarkable wisdom.
And consider Sita. She's a symbol of self-respect, unwavering dignity. She faces these huge challenges, but her commitment to her values and her refusal to compromise her integrity, they serve as such powerful examples.
Her story is a testament to staying true to yourself, even when you face adversity.
Precisely. And then you have the tragic story of Dasharatha and Kaikeyi, this cautionary tale about unchecked emotions, about the influence of negative advice. It really demonstrates how poor decisions made in a moment of weakness can have such devastating consequences.
Underscoring the importance of really carefully considering our choices, right? Seeking wise counsel and being mindful of the long-term impact of our actions. What about Ravana? His character, he provides a pretty important lesson.
Ravana's downfall, it was driven by greed, unchecked ambition. It shows how even great intellect can be corrupted by unchecked desires. It serves as this stark reminder: power without ethical grounding, it can lead to destruction.
His story is really a powerful cautionary tale. It's about balancing ambition with those moral principles. True success isn't just about achieving power, it's about wielding it responsibly, ethically. Now let's explore another text that is just packed with ethical wisdom, the Bhagavad Gita. This profound dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna offers timeless insights into navigating the complexities of life.
It's essentially a guidebook for ethical living, and it's relevant for anyone who's facing tough choices, especially those who are aspiring to public service. It stresses finding joy in your duty, managing emotions wisely, and staying focused on your goals, even when distractions pull you away.
It offers this practical framework for cultivating inner peace, for emotional intelligence, for that commitment to selfless action. These insights are super valuable, especially for UPSC aspirants, because they provide a strong foundation for ethical decision-making, especially in public life. What key lessons can we draw from the Gita?
The Gita emphasizes the importance of fulfilling your assigned duty. Even when you're faced with challenges or personal preferences, putting the needs of others before your own, acting with integrity even when it's really hard. It resonates deeply with the core values of public service. And it highlights that triumph of truth, the importance of honesty and integrity, especially for those in positions of power.
It's like a moral compass, these principles, guiding us toward ethical conduct in our professional and personal lives. Now let's delve into the world of political philosophy with Kautilya's Arthashastra. This ancient text offers a surprisingly relevant guide to governance, doesn't it?
Kautilya, also known as Chanakya, was this master strategist and advisor. And his Arthashastra, it emphasizes the welfare of the citizens as the ultimate measure of a ruler's success.
He believed that a ruler's happiness, it should be directly tied to the well-being of their people,
Yeah.
a principle that really resonates with modern concepts of public service and responsible governance.
Absolutely.
It's just amazing how much wisdom is in this ancient text. Kautilya also stressed the importance of accessibility, urging administrators to be available, responsive to the needs of their citizens. He advocated for a strong code of conduct for officials, promoting ethical behavior and accountability in all aspects of governance.
And let's not forget Kautilya's pragmatic approach to corruption. He recognized it's inevitable,
Yeah.
but he proposed some really practical strategies to combat it. His four-pronged approach, using Sam, Dem, and Bade, is surprisingly relevant even today.
It speaks to those challenges of governance, those enduring challenges, and how timeless Kautilya's insights really are. Could you break down those strategies a bit more for our listeners? I think they'd be particularly helpful for our UPSC aspirants who are thinking about a career in public service.
Sure, so Sam, or conciliation. It involves promoting ethical values through education, awareness building, creating a culture of integrity where honesty and ethical conduct are valued and rewarded. It's like building a strong ethical foundation.
Both for government officials and for the public.
Exactly. Dem, or incentives, it involves motivating ethical behavior through fair compensation, through recognition, through a supportive work environment. It recognizes that creating a system where honesty is rewarded is more effective than simply punishing corruption.
It's about making those ethical choices the easier choices, practically and culturally.
Precisely. Then you have dand, or punishment, which involves implementing deterrence to discourage corruption, emphasizing accountability and the need for consequences for those unethical actions. While Kautilya recognized punishment was important, he really saw it as that last resort, preferring to prevent corruption through the other three strategies.
So it's not just about catching and punishing corrupt individuals, but it's about creating a system that discourages it from happening in the first place.
Exactly. And finally, we have bed, or division. This involves using intelligence and investigation to expose and to prevent corruption. It's about having that robust vigilance system, one that can detect and address corrupt practices before they become widespread. Think about things like modern-day whistleblower protections, internal audit mechanisms. These are all contemporary applications of Kautilya's bed strategy. He understood that sunlight, it's the best disinfectant, and that transparency is really key for maintaining ethical governance.
That's a really holistic approach to tackling corruption, recognizing it requires a multifaceted strategy: education, incentives, deterrence, proactive vigilance. It's amazing how these ancient texts can offer this practical guidance for modern challenges. Now let's move on to another important voice from ancient India, the Ruvaluvar.
The Ruvaluverse Thirukkural, it focuses on these universal ethical principles that are applicable to all aspects of life, including governance. It emphasizes things like the importance of strong leadership, of wisdom, of justice, and compassion in creating a flourishing society.
It complements Kautilya's work by offering this broader perspective on leadership and on societal well-being.
Right. Thirukkural, it stresses the qualities of a good ruler, things like courage, generosity, wisdom, energy, knowledge, and decisiveness.
It highlights the essentials for a flourishing kingdom. Things like abundant resources, a strong and capable population, virtuous citizens, and a robust defense.
Absolutely. And it outlines the duties of the king, identifying and managing resources, collecting and distributing revenue fairly and responsibly.
The Rukwarul is full of these thought-provoking maxims, like, even a lie could be considered truth if it brings unquestionable benefits, highlighting those complexities of truth, the potential for ethical dilemmas. What are your thoughts on that one?
It really underscores those difficult choices that leaders sometimes face. Having to weigh the potential benefits against the ethical implications of their actions, it forces us to grapple with the gray areas of morality, where sometimes the lines between right and wrong can be blurred.
It reminds us that leadership isn't always straightforward. Another one. Even if God and fate don't will it, your true efforts will bear fruit. It really emphasizes the importance of human agency, perseverance.
It's a powerful message of empowerment, reminding us that we have the power to shape our destiny regardless of external circumstances.